welcome to Backstage. I'm here with the wonderful Vonche, the model Vonche.
That's good, everybody.
How are you, Vonche?
I'm delightful.
You're delightful?
Actually, I like to say fantabulous. Don't steal that. But you can steal it. You can use it.
So Vaughn, tell me about what have you been doing with yourself? You know, I haven't seen you for a while. Then I saw you a couple times. You've been off and on. What's been going on?
Well, I am a multi-passionate person.
Okay.
So I tend to have my hands in many different things. So last year was just a rough year in general for me. So I definitely had to take a step back from a lot of my creative
Okay.
passions. But last year I was more focused on life coaching. I have a life coaching business, Join the Peace Life Coaching. So
Okay.
I spent a lot of time focused on that last year. But now this year, after many requests and then my own personal desire to, I started modeling again. And then I also started my own web show called Alternative Route. So
Oh.
right now, I've been very focused on those two things with some other things cooking in the background. We ain't gonna talk about those though.
Okay. So tell me about Vonche growing up. What were you like growing up?
Mm.
Where are you from?
Let me go into my memory break. Oh, I was born in Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan.
Yes, but
Where
I
they got
was
the bad water at.
yeah. And then I was raised in North Carolina. I moved around different cities in North Carolina,
Okay.
and then I relocated to Ohio. And then after Ohio, I relocated to New York.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You've been moving.
Yeah, I'm gonna move some more too. Yeah.
So what was young Vonche like?
She very introverted. But I was the creative kid, so I did everything you could I've done so many different things. It's not even funny. I've done cheerleading, I did step, I did dance, I did chorus, I did drama, I did student council, I did science olympiads.
Jesus Christmas.
I was on the football team. I tried out for anything I could think of, really. I was in
Wait a minute.
band.
You were on the football team?
Yeah, but it didn't last very long because I wanted to do step and the practices were at the same time. I was like, something's got to give. And I love to dance and I love step more. So I went with step.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Any brothers and sisters?
I do have a sister. Shout out to my sister Corvette. I love you.
Older? Younger?
Older.
Older sister.
Yeah.
Okay. And so high school years were pretty busy.
Yes, but high school got cut short for me. So,
Why did high school get cut short?
well, I got pregnant.
That'll cut high school short. That will definitely cut it short.
It did cut it short.
Yes.
I got pregnant at 13. I had him at 14.
Okay.
And then I graduated high school at 15.
Okay. So yeah, it was a very short run in high school.
Yeah, so all my fun experiences came from middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're 13, 14 with a child.
Yeah.
How's a 14-year-old navigate that?
I still wonder. A lot of my growing up, my father was very strict.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up with a father who was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So he owned his own business. So he inspired me a lot in that area. So it made me a very driven person. And I just knew that I didn't want to be a statistic.
Okay.
That was my biggest driving factor. I just didn't want to be a statistic. I was like, it was already hard being a teen mom because there's so many negative connotations surrounding that. So that in itself was already just a big thing for me. And then to end up being the one who dropped out or just the welfare,
of course,
and there's nothing wrong with those things. I just didn't want to have that be my story.
Yeah, it's right. Some people need that. They whatever the case may be, but you just didn't want it to be your story.
Right, because I had it. Like
Right,
I used the government assistance. It's
right.
just I didn't want to be. I wanted to do something more. And being a teen mom, they make once you have children, they make it seem like it's something that's so very limiting.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like I didn't want it to be a limit for me. I wanted to be the reason why I excelled. So that's when I joined the military at 17.
17.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
So so you joined the military at 17
Yeah.
and you're in
I'm in the Army,
the Army.
National Guard.
Army National Guard.
Yeah.
How's that working? I mean, that's a totally different world.
Yeah. So balancing being a mom, an entrepreneur, and a service member um is a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
It's a lot to juggle, but I've done it somehow, some way. I've made it work for me. So it's it could be definitely very trying being in the military.
Yeah,
It's
that's I
definitely
would think that being in the military, single mom, um, that's gotta be. And you've been in the military now for what?
going on 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
So, but I guess you probably got it managed pretty well now.
It took time.
Yeah.
I deployed back in 2019, 2020.
Okay.
So that once I came back from that, it was like my focus was on I want to do things that I'm passionate about because I don't want this to be my life.
Right. So I guess sometime between 17 and 21, those creative juices started flowing.
Yeah, it did. We'll say it was actually just before my deployment. Because like I said, I danced, I did all the creative
Hmm.
things. So after I had my son, I stopped doing everything. It was just
Yeah, because life starts lifing.
right. It was just straight grind. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Wendy's at night. I was working at it's called Bob Evans. They don't have
I
it
know
here.
Bob Evans. I
Yeah, okay.
know.
So I worked at Bob Evans during the morning as a server. I worked Wendy's at night. So I'd literally like get off from work at Wendy's at like 5 o'clock in the morning to get him up for daycare and then turn around and go into work at 8, work from 8 to like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, come home, play with him, feed him, make sure that he's good for the day.
Like,
And then I'll go right back to work in the evening.
damn.
Yeah. And I was just like, this is not sustainable.
So you were where then?
I was living in Ohio.
In Ohio. So you take the plunge and you say, you know what? What drags you to New York? I mean, you're always in the West. I mean, you're in the Ohio, Michigan. You're in all these kind of Midwestern cities.
Ooh, well, that's getting deep, folks. Um, so me and my dad did end up having the best relationship.
Okay.
And it was just becoming a just not so great situation. And he ended up kicking me out.
Okay.
And I was like, well, at that time, somebody I was dating was visiting. They're like, um, you can come to New York with
And they're
me.
from New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can reestablish you there. And I was like, all right. And
Leap of faith.
yeah, and I had like 3 bags, my baby, and a bus ticket.
3
And
bags, a baby, and a bus ticket.
yeah.
Wow. So you land in New York.
Hmm.
The creativity is. Are you planning on?
No.
No
For
plan.
like the first 3 years of me living here, I'm an ambivert, so I'm naturally introverted, but I have extrovert tendencies, hence why I'm here. So, I didn't do anything of the sort. I just worked, and spent time with family. And it was about like I think year number 4 of being here. Um, Like I always been into taking pictures. When I was younger, I was like, that was my thing. Like I wanted
Right.
to be a model when I was a kid.
Okay.
America's Next Top Model,
That was your shit.
that was my thing.
Okay.
So I was like, I remember like I would take photos and I'm like, oh, these actually like came out kind of nice. And my best friend, we started taking my photos. I would practice like posing. We got a camera. She would take my photos for me. And then I just started posting here and there.
Okay.
And then actually, that was not too long after I was like, on my birthday. And
Gotcha.
I was like, she was like, we're going to get you a photo shoot. So she booked a photo shoot for me for my birthday with Kahim.
Hmm.
Um, and that was like my first photo shoot.
Okay.
And then after that, I ended up working with you.
Jeez.
Yep.
Jeez. So now you're in the modeling world.
Yeah.
You I mean that's just a fast ticket right into the modeling world.
Yeah.
Whew. How's that go?
It's it's
Because the modeling scene here is it's a crowded scene, it's a competitive scene, it's a tough scene. How'd
okay.
that go for you?
Well, I it's really funny because I think my experience coming into the modeling scene was very different. One, it was already different because, as you know, and I don't know who knows, but I'm a natural hair model, so that in itself was already something that was just, I guess, different for me trying to navigate. And then I'm a freelance model, so I
Right.
didn't have the desire to be a part of an agency. And I noticed like there those things like the competitiveness. And I'm not a competitive person. I'm a collaborative person. I love to work with people and bring people together versus like you're my competitor. I don't, that's just not my
Right.
spirit. So I feel like coming into the modeling scene, I just stayed true to that for me. And it allowed me to have a lot of great experiences with
Okay.
people. And with that came like it just really did happen. Like people started just reaching out to me like, hey, I would like to work with you. And I was like, oh, okay. Let's do
Let's do it.
it.
Let's work.
Let's do it. Um, it was different because I didn't have anybody to say this is how it is
Right.
and this is what you do. I just kind of I'm a researcher. That's like my hidden talent. I'm a really great researcher. So I just started researching things like how to get into modeling, how to, work as a freelance model and all those things. So it was something I just kind of started and am still figuring out
Oh yeah, it's
as I'm going.
right. So it's got to be tough though navigating that by yourself, especially in the 518. The 518 is tough. You have people who want to collaborate. You have people who won't collaborate. You
Mm.
have people who are at varying levels of modeling, photography. I mean, the whole nine. It's like so navigating that on your own without any guidance had to be a little tough.
I think it was like for me, I feel like I was prepared for this my whole life.
Okay.
Just because of everything that I've done before this and then being in the military especially taught me how to navigate people.
Okay. That's fair.
And so I think having that prior information when it came to just interacting like cuz modeling is the main thing is networking.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
getting to know people, but not doing it in a way that doing it to try to just use people. It's like
Right.
genuinely getting to know people and knowing who people are and knowing what they do and supporting others and
Absolutely.
people naturally from that they just end up supporting you. So for me navigating it, it's just been like just more so navigating in a way that I can grow my skills, like
Okay.
how I can get better. I've tried different types of modeling, and that I think that's the main thing. It's like
Getting where you fit in. Right.
yeah, figuring out what works for you. Me, I'm not really a heels person. I found that out after these last couple of fashion shows. I was like,
Oh God.
heels is not my thing, but I can do it.
Right.
Don't
But
get
it's not something that you look forward to.
no, and that's when I had started to really accept, like, I'm more of a streetwear model, like
Okay.
streetwear, activewear,
Hmm.
things that I can wear sneakers for.
Yes.
That's my style, and that's my style naturally. Like, I've
Okay.
always been a tomboy. Like, that's
Okay.
my natural style, so I tend to gravitate towards that, and that's something that I feel like in navigating it, while we have the external, it's definitely about the internal, knowing who
Yes.
you are and what you're comfortable with. Because when I first came into the modeling scene, I wasn't a boudoir model.
Right.
Like, there was just certain things I like dresses, but it's not necessarily something that it's the
Hmm.
first thing you would see me in. And knowing that about myself helped me find opportunities that fit my personal style.
Right. It's almost like um you do what you're comfortable with, where you're comfortable at first, and then you learn and branch out and become characters. Because I've certainly seen you do some different things. I mean, you branched out fairly quickly in the music videos.
Yeah.
That was like, I was like a huge step. It was like, oh my God, she's doing music videos. How was that for you?
Oh, I love music videos. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
Okay.
Um, because I love music. And like I said, I did dance, and I still am a dancer at heart. I was like, my first love was dance. So anytime I get to be around people who do music, it's always a great time for me. And then to use my artistry to be able to help um add that um kind of like that, that look for
Yeah.
the video is
Yeah.
like really fun to
Yeah.
do. So I
eh,
enjoy it.
Right. And then those, you never like, the way I see you is that you become pretty damn good at changing who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's like before, you when you first start out, you were a one trick pony. You did your streetwear, you're kind of hard, your gangster look a little bit.
Mhm.
But from there, I've seen you like venture out into all these different areas, and I said, wow, she's grown as a model.
Mhm.
She's grown as a character.
Mhm.
Because part of that is being able to pull off different looks, pull off different styles, pull off different scenes.
Mhm.
And I saw you in a multitude of different videos, and I was
Yeah.
like, damn. And then just recently, well, not just recently, but I saw you did your own thing with poetry.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So I love to write poetry. That's like I would say besides dance, that would be my second love. Is poetry. Many people don't know that I write poetry. It's kind of like
Okay.
a hidden thing, but it's there. Like when you hear it, it's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But it's not the one that I advertise the most. But
Okay.
because it's always been something very personal for me. Like my writing has always just been an outlet. So
Right.
it's been more of
So
like
it's more a personal thing.
yeah, but I have no problem sharing it. Everything that I do is very purposeful, and
Hmm.
that's why I am a natural hair model. That's why I do certain things that I do, because for me it's bigger than just that. And same thing with my poetry. And so I always wanted to do music,
Oh.
and I don't really feel like I got the singing voice. And I'm not much of a rapper. So poetry was kind of like my happy medium
Yeah,
of being
yeah, I saw you
able.
bridge the gap there with poetry and video. I said, a little bit. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and my favorite thing is like um I love to direct.
Okay.
Um actually. And so I was like, well, cuz I have the vision for it. That's why for a little bit I was doing creative
Yes.
direction. And so putting what I saw in my head and then bringing that to life through video, because that was my favorite part of being a music artist. I love the fact that they have the
Right.
videos. So I was like, I want to put videos to my poetry. I want to give people that visual image to relate to with the poetry. I feel
Okay.
like it's a lot. more entertaining, and that's what I am. I'm an entertainer at the end of the
Right.
day.
At the end of the day, that's what you're doing.
That's me. So when did that, shout out to Ryan. I was like, Ryan, I had this
Yep.
idea.
Shout out Ryan.
Yeah, and I just was like, this is what I want it to look like, and we did it, and I love it.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, I
It's
love
dope.
it.
It's definitely something different too.
Yeah,
I hadn't up until that point I hadn't seen anything like that, so it was pretty cool. It was like, okay, I see. Her bringing it back to and you do a lot of talking about your natural hair. Is that something that is dear to you? Is that something that? Tell me about that.
very much so. So story time. I was around 15, 16 at this time, and I had a lot of hair damage. So I had a lot of the straight pieces in my hair.
Hmm.
My hair was not afro-y at all. Like it was like that in between, and I hated it. I hated it so much. But I spent a lot of time being raised down south, like
Right.
straight hair and wigs and braids. That's the more
Mainstream.
promoted
Yeah.
style, but I've always been into natural hair. I love nostalgia. That's like one of my favorite things. And I remember I just cut my hair. And my dad was like, "Why would you do that?" He was so mad at me. And I love you, Dad, but I'm putting you out there on this one. He made me go get a texturizer for my hair because
Wow.
he did not like it. And I was very hurt by that experience because I felt the most beautiful when I had cut my hair
Hmm.
and I had my natural hair. And after I ended up moving to New York, the same thing happened. After your hair grows out, damage, and I cut it again.
Okay.
And I grew it from there. And just remember people coming to me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, your hair looks so beautiful. I wish I could do that with my hair." And I'm like, "You can." I'm like, you absolutely can. And people get so discouraged. And I just saw how much the like European standard of beauty was pushed.
Yes.
And I'm like, we don't have much representation of just women with their natural hair
Absolutely.
in the industry. Like we're seeing it a lot more, but it's still not the more promoted
Right.
style. And it's definitely not the quote unquote desired look for a woman.
Okay.
And I just didn't care about that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna
Just
do
like
my
Vonche doing her own thing,
I'm gonna do
radio
my
shit.
own I'm gonna do my own
Right.
thing. And I found, especially for like my son, my nieces, they all have natural hair and they look up to me and they see all the different styles that I
Yes.
do, and they're like, I can look beautiful. Because I just remember like having a conversation with one of my younger kids, and she said that to me. She was like,
Wow.
the boys don't look at me because my hair is more afro-y and I don't wear my hair straight and in braids and stuff like that. So she wanted to straighten her hair.
Okay.
I was like, if a boy don't love you for the hair that grows out of your head,
Go
get
ahead with
rid of them.
that.
Get rid
Whatever.
of them because you look gorgeous with your natural hair. And that's what I wanted to promote, of just that self-confidence of feeling beautiful naturally. And that's something that I'm grateful for because my mom instilled that in me as well.
Okay.
Like to feel confident and comfortable in my skin how I am. And so that's just what I wanted to do.
Okay. Okay. I get it. I mean, there's not a lot of you guys out here. You know, there's definitely not. So when somebody's looking for a natural hair model, you're probably getting a call because there's just not a lot of you out here.
Yeah.
And so you have kind of carved out a kind of unique path for yourself. And it doesn't surprise me because you are kind of a unique individual. you
That's
know.
me.
So you talked about life coach.
Yeah.
You got into life coaching. How did that happen?
Well, I've always loved helping people. That goes into a lot of deep things, but I wanted to originally go into therapy. I wanted to be a therapist. I was not fond of the college route.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, how else can I do that? How else can I help people? Because I became a mindfulness and mindset coach.
Okay.
So working with people, especially with like things like confidence
Mm-hmm.
and teaching people how to care for themselves. Um, so those things are really important to me, and I see that it is a big lack for a lot of people. A lot of people just don't feel confident in themselves,
Oh.
and that keeps them from doing a lot. And so I just wanted to be able to help people because I've always been an encourager, always been that cheerleader for
Mm-hmm.
people. So I wanted to learn different techniques on how to do that. And
Okay.
so going through the life coaching program, it taught me a lot. I actually ended up learning a lot of therapeutic methods for
What
working
techniques
with
do they
people,
teach? Do they?
like NLP,
Mm-hmm.
that's a CBT. Um, if you want to go into just simple things like mindfulness, meditation, I have my meditation
Okay.
certification as well. So I was teaching people how to meditate and how to um because life is busy,
Yes,
and
it is.
that's where a lot of people find themselves getting really anxious. So working with people to find that peace that's
Right.
within us always and show them how to implement that into daily practice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I get that because I read I'm a trainer. I was a trainer for DBT,
Hmm.
dialectical behavioral therapy. And one of the things was mindfulness and radical acceptance and all these different modalities of working through issues. And what I found is that what a lot of us take for granted that we just do, other people don't have those skills.
Yeah.
And they need to be taught those skills, and,
Yeah.
and, and it helps to have a name put to the skill
Yeah.
so you know exactly what you're doing. So I get that. So you have a YouTube channel for your life coaching or a website or
So I have an Instagram for my life
Instagram?
coaching,
Okay.
yes. And right now it's currently under construction because I found that I want to be more of the go-to person for it, but not the person always giving the service.
Okay.
So
I
I
got it.
love life coaching. I love what life coaching can do for people. I want to breed more life coaches.
Okay. So you want to bring the people to the service, not necessarily to you.
Yes.
I get it.
Because I am an empath, and that is a lot of energy, which on top of everything that I do already, it was a lot for me to maintain for myself. And when I realized that, I started thinking of other ways. So I still use my platforms to be encouraging
Gotcha.
and to promote those healthier lifestyles.
Hmm.
I just don't do it necessarily through one-on-one coaching anymore
I
these
gotcha.
days.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. So I mean, you certainly have a lot on your plate. What else are you into?
Well, I have my show that we
Yeah, tell me
haven't.
about the show.
Yeah. So the alternative route show I created because I felt that one, entrepreneurship is a great avenue,
Hmm.
and there's a good amount of resources out there. However, I don't really find that like articles and stuff that you find really relate to the human experience of
Okay.
entrepreneurship, like the everyday, what it's like to
Oh
just
shit.
yeah, was it's not the glitter and gold part of it, but it's the real life
Absolutely. The
of
real
it,
the realness.
right?
This ain't
And
gonna be a 6 hour day. It's gonna be more like a 14-hour day.
yes, and that wasn't to discourage people. However, it's just me being me. I may not have access to entrepreneurs
Hmm.
to that I feel comfortable talking to, or that I know on the level that I can just ask those questions.
Right.
So to give a platform for entrepreneurs to be able to share their stories and how they built their businesses, how they got into businesses, talking about those trouble points of what might have went wrong
Right.
while they were trying to build their business and how they managed to overcome those things. So giving them a platform for entrepreneurs to share their story to help breed and encourage other people to get into
The next
entrepreneurship.
generation of entrepreneurs. I mean, you know, the worst thing that people see is they see these rosy stories about, someone getting to the top or getting. Man, it don't work like that. You're
Mm-mm.
gonna fail 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times
Mm-hmm.
before you make it once, and you're gonna work harder than you've ever worked before. Everyone, people
Mm-hmm.
think that somehow that um, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're working for yourself, that it's easier. Hell no, it ain't. I
Mm-mm.
mean, you are working hours upon hours upon hours because you're a one man band.
Yeah.
So I get that. And so telling people the real deal, the real story behind it would be very, very helpful
Yeah.
for anyone thinking about having the guts to go out there and say, I'm gonna, work for myself. I want to do this on my own. So that's incredible. What else are you into? Anything else going on there?
Modeling. And then I have some things that are going on. I'm
Well, wait a minute.
emphasizing.
Hold on. You just said modeling. You just walked a runway. You just walked a couple runways.
I did.
Were those your first runways?
No. Well, they're my first runways for this year.
Okay.
So because I pretty much took like a year break.
Okay.
So we're in 2024. 2023 was, I did maybe one or two modeling gigs
Right.
that year. I was very focused on starting the piece. So this year, the two fashion shows that I did the fashion takeover with Sylvia Robinson, and then I did Empowering Monarchs
Right.
with Suisse.
Yeah.
And those were two very beautiful shows. I love them. Um, and I will be walking more this year,
Okay.
but I'm very selective about the runway shows that I do. Like I said,
Yeah.
I like runway, not really a big fan of the heels. So I'm being more choosy about which runway shows I
Okay.
put myself
Okay.
in.
And I know you're going to be in a video with Pesci, Carrie
Yes.
from the Prom. So I know that's something that it's on the burner and it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more poetry stuff you got
I
unleashing?
do. I
Oh,
do. I just got through speaking with my videographer for my next visual poem. So it is something that is in the works. I already have the poem written and recorded.
okay,
It's just the recording process now.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, and I saw you on a podcast. Was that the show
Saw me on a
I saw that you were I think you posted online you were working on a podcast. You were in in a studio working on with another young lady.
Whew, let's see. I haven't been on any podcasts
I
recently.
thought it was a show I saw you. I think maybe Ryan filmed it or something. It was something you were working on.
For the alternative route?
Maybe that's it. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Okay.
Then, yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we did post a little snippet from one of our
Okay.
interviews.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any shoots coming up?
Do I have any shoots coming up? I do. I'm actually, I'm so, I'm so, I'm so secretive.
Well, this won't air until about August anyway, so let it out.
Well, I'm trying to see which ones would be like released
Hmm.
before that point. I am working with some clothing brands. So that's
Okay.
the thing about being a freelance model is you really have to hunt for your own
Yes,
opportunities.
absolutely.
And that means learning how to put yourself out there in a professional brandable, marketable
Hmm.
way. And so I've been in contact with a couple of brands. I may even be taking a trip really soon
Okay, okay.
out of New York
See how we get
City.
them to spill the tea, guys?
So I'm excited for that opportunity.
Okay.
I've been working on my director hat.
Yes,
So
I know that. Yeah.
yeah, so I've been learning the ropes of film. Um and that's been a really fun process as well.
Yeah, that's certainly a deep dive into another genre of entertainment.
I love entertainment.
Wow.
I do love entertainment. So yeah.
And what I'm learning about you though is that you're a risk taker.
Really?
Yes, you're a risk taker. I didn't see you that way before. I never saw you as a risk taker, but you're a risk taker.
That makes me feel good
Yeah,
because sometimes I do be scared.
well, I mean, I mean, we're working on a project, coming up that's going to be like gallery is in book, the whole
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That is definitely me stepping outside of mine.
yeah, and I
But
mean, it's like when I contact you about it, I contact you about the face paint,
yeah.
and I didn't see you, because you're just not you don't. I guess I just saw you wrong. I just saw you wrong because you are I guess you're in that conquering phase of your life where you just say, you know what, I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do and do it the way I want to do it, and that's all to it.
And now that I'm looking back at my life, no, that's just been my whole life.
Really?
Yeah, that's just been me my whole
Wow.
life. Just
I read you completely wrong.
yeah,
I just read you completely wrong. I mean, you're but then you're an artist.
I was gonna say I'm very I'm often misinterpreted.
Okay. I could see that.
I learned
Definitely
that
see that.
the initial like first meets for
Right.
people can be very like it throw them off. Like I'll tell you a story. I remember when you go in the military, you go to basic
Hmm.
training. And I remember, so, after we went through all our training and things like that, we're all sitting down, we're like reminiscing on when we first got there, and we're all sitting down. Everybody's like doing first impressions. And I'm like, ooh, do my first impression. And everybody looked at me and they're like, we thought we was gonna have to fight you.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, why? And they're like, your face. I'm
You're
like,
very reserved. Yeah, you're very reserved. You're very different.
I,
Different. Just different. It's you're a tough read. A lot of times people, I read people very well. And you know, when I was putting my project together, um, the artistic nudes and that stuff, I never Vonche did not play into that.
yeah.
Okay. The face paint, I was like, yes, and then I just read you completely wrong because you're like, Mark, I don't like really nobody touch my face.
Yeah. I have very sensitive skin. So like putting things on my face, oh
But it
my
was it was just
gosh.
like a total wrong read. And then you said, no, I want to do that.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, I want to know that. And I'm like, I thought this, and it's just I just read you completely wrong, and you're more of a free spirit
Yeah.
than you give off.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's one of those things where you're just so reserved that it takes people time to break down those levels to
Yeah.
get to know you to say, no, 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 no. When you first meet Vonche, you don't want to punch her in the fucking face, but she's cool as hell. you know? Like,
I wish that was like off, but that's very accurate. Most people meet me and they're like, I don't think I'm gonna like her very much. It's like
yeah.
just
A very straight, very
yeah.
like I find that you're reading the room a lot of times when you're with people, when you're in settings, you're
Yeah.
reading the room. You're okay. This person maybe not so much. Maybe so, okay. This one, I feel like you're reading the room, and when someone sees someone reading the room, they always think they're reading the room for the wrong reasons.
Listen, I feel like people who watch my social media and then they meet me in person, they're like,
That's like, who is this?
they're
Who?
the same person. I promise you. It just
Yeah.
when I'm in the comfort of my own space, it's easier for me to be me. But the world the world is not always accepting of people like me, and that's okay. I don't mask myself for that reason. I just naturally, like I said, I'm naturally an introvert.
Right.
So naturally I'm more quiet anyway.
But I like that about it. I like the fact that you don't try to fit in. I like that. And I think that's it really works for you, not trying to fit in, because the bottom line is that, you know, being on the outside is kind of like where your safe zone is. You're on the outside, you're good. You don't need to be part of everybody's clique.
No. I am that who I am now, it came over time. I was bullied.
Really?
I was bullied bad and for years.
See, I don't get that. You seem like a tough cookie, man.
Yeah, I am. I'm a sweetheart, and I love people. And I used to be definitely like a people pleaser, and
Right.
so like I just kumbaya. Like
I want to just be happy. Everybody just be happy.
like
Let's
I
just
just
work.
yeah, like love, peace, happiness. Like that's me. So I never was really into conflict, but I think me being who I am, because I'm so like non
Right.
conflicting, it just brought some people who are more conflicting and people who like to try to take advantage of
Right.
kindness. And so it just put me in a lot of positions where there was always somebody who wanted to fight. Like I spent most of middle school from fifth grade, no, technically from third grade all the way until I made my exit out of school in eighth grade fighting.
Wow.
Yeah, I was fighting every school year. Every school year I got into a fight. And like I remember like it was just craziness. Girls wanted to jump me. And this is living down south.
Yeah.
So it was very odd. So it definitely put me more into a bubble
Yeah.
where I
I
just
get it.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah, I've had craziness. I had people cut my hair while I was sleeping. Yeah, people
Yeah.
stealing from me, like just a lot of different interactions with people that definitely over time that introvertedness just became even more
Right.
introverted because it was just like too many scenarios where it's like putting me in very risky positions that I don't need to be in. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go sit down somewhere.
I'll sit my ass down somewhere.
Yeah, and that's when I started just learning that it's just better just to listen half
Right.
the time anyway.
Right. So, listen, I want to thank you for stopping in. We look forward to following you and following where you're going next. I mean, I always want to make a story like, where the hell is Vonche now? Because you're doing so much,
Yeah.
and you're doing a lot, but you always seem to fly under the radar still. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
that's
sounds
funny.
odd that a person is doing a lot, but still can fly under the radar, and you still find a way to fly under the radar,
Yeah.
which is an awesome thing, especially in the 518 in this scene. You know, so congratulations on the show coming up.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the runways and endeavors that are coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping in.
I appreciate you, Mark.